Welcome to Shaw Spotlight. I'm Janis Gummeson. Today I'm here with our Mayor, Bill Mauro. Mr. Mauro, how are you doing today?
I'm well. Thank you for being here and thanks for giving me an opportunity to speak to the community.
Great. Now, on that note, can you tell us what is the city doing to battle the spread of COVID-19?
Well, I think there's a few things, but primarily I think when people consider the City of Thunder Bay, they're interested in the service provision side of the work that the City of Thunder Bay does. And in that order, we have obviously, I think people are aware, made a lot of decisions over the last week. Those decisions continue to evolve and when it comes to services that are no longer being provided. And it's changed for a variety of reasons. We remember not that long ago, you were allowed to congregate in groups up to 250. And then over about a week ago, the Center for Disease Control in Atlanta brought that number down to 50. So when you start to see that number shrink, you understand that from a service provision perspective, you need to be aware of that. And there's a lot of services that we would provide that would allow for groups to gather in larger than 50. So that guides the decisions that we make. We're at the point now where there's probably less that we're offering than there is that we've already canceled. It continues to evolve. City Hall is still open on shortened hours, but I think we need to make a change there as well. So it continues to evolve. We're guided not only by the number, but by the impact potentially of decisions that I make or that I don't make that influence our healthcare system. If we get a surge, we want to be cognizant of doing everything that we could have done to prevent having a negative consequence for our healthcare providers. So there's a lot that goes into the decisions that we make, but certainly people look at us from the service provision perspective, and I think they're aware at this point to the decisions that we made and the services that have been reduced.
Now, what about, essential services within the city? What about garbage and recycling and transit? What about those services? Will they be affected?
So far, they're not. You've raised a few that obviously we need to continue to provide. A great example would be the water plant. Obviously, that's an essential service when it comes to the provision of safe water, when it comes to the provision of the water pollution control plant. Those are still operating. Transit, we're still operating. Under a reduced scenario, we've changed it. You've got a concern with all of the decisions that you make for the health and safety of your employees, as well as any decisions that you make that will bring people together to potentially not contain the virus, that will allow for community spread. So that's all influenced. To your point, we heard this afternoon as we speak today that the province has now announced, mandated through their emergency powers, forcing the closure of all non-essential businesses right across the province. And so if people weren't taking this seriously enough before, when a province announces something like that, when they know the impact that that's going to have on the economy and on people's lives, nothing can speak any clearer than that decision, I would hope, to people. And if they're not out there at this point taking it seriously, they really, really need to get on board, because we're only as strong in this effort as our neighbor or the person standing near to us.
Everything that I've heard or read or watched on TV is social distancing is the key. You and I are not sitting very close together. Yeah. We're not close at all.
Yeah.
How important to you is social distancing when it comes to everything?
When you listen to the healthcare professionals, Janis, that's what's been informing me as I try and move forward with certain decisions, along with the administration of the City of Thunder Bay, the decisions that we're making collectively. What are the healthcare professionals telling us? And the single best tool that we have, no matter who you're listening to, whether it's somebody in the United States now, or whether it's somebody nationally in Canada, health professionals, politicians at all levels, municipally, provincially, federally, social distancing is it. It's the single best tool that we have. I was asked at a press conference last week at the hospital about, okay, Mauro, you've closed parks, but how are you going to enforce it? And I told the individual that asked me the question that if it comes to enforcement, we've lost. We have to take on personal responsibility about this. We need to take it seriously. We need to socially distance as best we're able. We understand people are still going to need to go to the pharmacy. They're still going to need to go to the grocery store. There are essentials that we all need. When you're doing that, as best you're able, socially distance yourself. That's the tool that we all have. At this moment, there is no vaccine. So to contain the spread, to limit the impact on our healthcare system, that's the tool we have. And I'm hoping, thank you for this opportunity, that people that are going to watch this in the City of Thunder Bay are taking this very seriously if they're not already.
Okay, now I know another part of this is everyone's being told to stay home, social distance. it can get a little lonely, it can get a little, some people are scared.
Yeah.
Do you have a message out there for the people in our community?
Well, I'm hoping that, you know, the fear part, I think, as you've referenced in your question, is certainly there for some people. These are different times. The generation that I'm part of, I've thought about it often, how fortunate as a generation we've been. You know, no World War, no pandemics, no Great Depression, although we had a recession in 2008. So we've been very, very fortunate. And I think for many people my age and younger, this is the first real sort of difficult situation, if I could say. Everybody's had difficult personal circumstances in their lives. But as a country, as you know, the planet, we're now dealing with something that's very different that we haven't seen for a very long time, certainly in my lifetime and people younger than me. So yes, I understand the anxiety that's in the community, but I really do believe we're going to get through it. You know, we'll get on the other side of it. We're all in it together. I said the other day, though, back to your earlier point, it's like the weakest link in the chain. People need to take the social distancing piece seriously. Take some time, get on those things that you haven't been doing in the past, read a book, you know, do whatever it is you need to occupy your time. 14 days, you can be asymptomatic, which is a danger with this, and still be out there potentially infecting other people while you are not displaying those symptoms. Be mindful of that. There's a reason they're asking for a 14-day period where you socially isolate, especially for the snowbirders and the March breakers who are coming home. Please take this very seriously. We're going to get through it.
Mr. Mayor, thank you so much for talking with us today.
I appreciate it. Thank you for the time. I really appreciate being here with you today. Thank you.